Blue water sounds romantic until you start listing the ways the ocean can break a boat. Groundings, shipping container hits, pooping waves, knockdowns that turn into full rolls. That's when marketing buzzwords stop mattering and engineering takes over. Today, we're not chasing pretty, we're chasing survivability. Boats that are built to forgive human error and still bring you home. 7 boats, 3 schools of thought. I'll show what makes each one tough, where it shines, where it bites, and who it's really for. Stay to the end for a fast buyer's map so you can pick the right tool for your ocean. If this kind of no sugarcoating helps you sail farther with less stress, tap subscribe and let's go. First up, the Garcia Exploration 45. This is the aluminum fortress, designed by Jimmy Cornell to go bash through the Northwest Passage and then have a cozy dinner at anchor. The hull is marine-grade aluminum, 5083 alloy, with bottom plating around a centimeter thick, up to 12 millimeters in high load zones, then lighter topsides to keep weight down without going fragile. The stem is reinforced like a light icebreaker. Below the waterline, there are no flimsy mushroom seacocks. Every through-hull is a welded standpipe with the valve mounted above the waterline. If a valve fails, you don't sink. That's the level of paranoia we want offshore. The insulation is where Garcia quietly wins long passages. Closed-cell foam lines the hull, think several centimeters of real thermal barrier, plus insulated deck and double-glazed reverse rake windows in the deckhouse. Translation: Arctic mornings without condensation, tropical noons without heat stroke, and a boat that stays dry and quiet when the weather gets loud. Underway, the centerboard is the cheat code. Board down, you draw deep for pointing and power. Board up, you draw barely over a meter. That lets you dive into skinny coves when the ice or the forecast turns ugly. Twin skeg-protected rudders give grip when pressed and stay guarded if you bump stuff. Add watertight bulkheads fore and aft, and the companionway you can dog shut like a ship. The result is a boat that dents, not shatters, and keeps water where it belongs, outside. Where it shines, high latitudes, debris fields, remote coasts, and any passage where let's just go around the ice is not an option. Where it bites, price, system count, and light air pace unless you fly a big coat sail. Who it's for? The pragmatic explorer who wants to go everywhere once and some places twice without flinching. Your buyer's checklist here. Verify plating thicknesses and survey the welds. Confirm the standpipes are corrosion-free. Service the board pins and bearings, and make sure the heating and insulation package is intact. If those are right, you get a boat that treats ice like a suggestion and turns scary forecasts into solvable puzzles. Next, the Kraken 50. If you love fiberglass but hate keel bolts, this is your boat. Kraken's zero keel is not marketing. There is no keel to hull joint. The keel is part of the hull. The lead is encapsulated inside an integral fin. Run aground at speed, and you don't shear studs or peel a stub. You grind gel coat and carry on. Forward of that, the stem and keel leading edge are armored with aramid, Kevlar, so the bow takes a punch from a log without going soft. The rudder philosophy is the opposite of modern spades. Full skeg, heel fitting, and service access. You can reach the quadrant and bearings at sea. If something starts to bind, you can fix it underway. Out of forward crash bulkhead, serious laminate thickness below the waterline, and a hull that's solid glass where it matters. No cord is soak or delam if a through hull goes sideways. Underway, the boat feels planted and predictable. It's not trying to win Wednesday nights, it's trying not to make headlines. The trade-off is weight and cost. You're paying for material, labor, and redundancy. Systems are simple by design, but they're massively built, so you keep them on a maintenance calendar, not a guess. Where it shines, Bluewater miles for crews who want GRP comfort without the bolt-on keel gamble. Where it bites, new build lead time and price of entry. Who it's for? The safety-obsessed circumnavigator who wants modern space and systems with old-school structural margins. Your checklist? Scope the keel laminate schedule, inspect the skeg and heel fitting for play, confirm the crash bulkhead is watertight, and make sure the bearings access is actually usable. If those boxes tick, you're buying a boat that removed a whole category of failure from your life.
Following that, the Amel Super Maramu. This is the integrated machine. Not the newest kid, but one of the most proven boats a couple can take around without drama. Amel builds like an airplane fuselage. Bulkheads, hull, and deck are laminated together in the mold, so the whole shell is one piece. No creaky liner, no bolted hull to deck seam to work loose in a seaway. Torsional stiffness is off the charts, and it stays quiet when it's ugly outside. Amel's obsession is watertight compartmentalization. Submarine-style doors can seal off zones: forepeak, forward cabin, saloon, aft cabin, lazarette, so a collision isn't a sinking event, it's a messy morning and a long passage to a yard. There are real survival stories of crews isolating a flooded bow and simply sailing on. Then there's the U-drive, the prop tucked behind the keel, driven through a compact transmission. No long shaft, no exposed strut catching crab pots, and the prop lives in the safest place on the boat. Add the hard dodger and catch rig, and one person can shorten sail without leaving a sheltered center cockpit. Smaller sails, lower loads, and electric help where it counts. Furlers, windlass, winches. Where it shines? Ocean passages run by two people who value protection and redundancy over taste-of-the-month speed. Where it bites, it's a system-dense boat. You respect the maintenance plan. Who it's for? The couple that wants a single button to make the boat smaller, a door that makes a flood a nuisance, and a cockpit that stays civilized in uncivilized weather. Checklist? Inspect the watertight doors and gaskets, verify the U-drive alignment and seal health, check spar and furler service history, and look for a clean, ventilated engine room. Get those right, and you own one of cruising's least dramatic circumnavigators.
Next up, the Hallberg-Rassy 46. Swedish pedigree, Frere's lines, and the overbuilt done elegantly school. Under the sole, you'll find a massive structural grid. Deep floors laminated into the hull that spread keel and mast loads across a huge footprint. Keel bolts pass through that structure, not a thin pan, so hard groundings don't localize stress at a handful of holes. The hull-to-deck joint is glassed, not just gooped and screwed, then capped by a beefy cap rail, watertight and robust. Steering is conservative in all the right ways. A semi-balanced rudder with a proper skeg and an overspec'd stock. Think big-diameter stainless that laughs at side loads. Bearings are self-aligning so a flexing hull doesn't bind the blade when it's rough. Above the waterline, sandwich construction with proper foam core gives stiffness and insulation. Less condensation up north, less heat soak down south. Quieter all the time. Underway, you get a calm, sea-kindly motion with real average speed and no drama when it pipes up. It rewards early, sensible reefs. It is not a light air flyer unless you fly more cloth. Inside, service access is human. Tanks, filters, wiring, reachable. That matters after a week at sea. Where it shines, world cruising for crews who want premium build and the comfort that comes from stiffness and mass. Where it bites, you pay for the name and you maintain to that name.
Who it's for, the do-it-once, do-it-right sailor who wants a boat that will be tight and quiet at 25 years old. Checklist: ultrasound keel bolts if you're suspicious, inspect grid tabbing, check the rudder stock for play, and confirm the foam core zones are dry and solid around hardware. A clean survey here buys you decades of quiet miles.
Moving on, the Westsail 32. This is the heavy weather folk hero, the boat that was tougher than its crew in the perfect storm. Call it slow if you want, it's also famously hard to kill. The hull is thick, solid glass. We're talking multiple centimeters in the bilges and around the keel, tapering to still serious at the topsides. The ballast is poured and encapsulated. There are no keel bolts to shear. The rudder is hung on the transom with massive bronze hardware. If you hit something, you inspect a pintle, not a stock passing through the hull. The double-ended stern is not about style, it's about how you handle a following sea. Instead of a flat wall for a breaker to club, the stern splits water and sheds it, which reduces the chance of a broach or a cockpit-filling poop. Simple rigs, simple systems, and real handholds everywhere make this boat honest to live with when the breeze lives in the 40s. Where it shines, survival conditions, and crews who measure speed in completed passages and cups of tea that didn't spill. Where it bites, light air pace and upwind VMG. If your window is short and your weather is gentle, you'll be motoring more than the others. Who it's for? The budget-minded ocean crosser who values thick glass and forgiving physics over Instagram square footage. Checklist: survey like a hawk. Many were kit finished, so check bulkhead bonding, rig history, and tank installs. Verify the rudder hardware is snug and the encapsulated keel is dry and sound. Get a good one, and you'll own the small boat with the big reputation. Following that, the Rustler 36. Golden Globe legend, long keel, cutaway forefoot, and a hull that tracks like it was born for wind vanes. The ballast is encapsulated, the keel is part of the hull. Run onto a rock and, more often than not, the boat rides up instead of stopping dead. That convert horizontal energy into vertical move is a big deal for keeping rigs up and hulls dry. The GGR didn't just sell boats, it stress-tested them. Rustlers were pitch-poled, knocked flat, even rammed, and the hulls kept their integrity. The deck is cored for stiffness with proper, solid inserts under winches and cleats so hardware doesn't crush into mush. The hull to deck is bonded and through-bolted, then shielded by a rubbing strake that doubles as a bumper for docks and storm debris. Underway, it's not fast by modern polars, but it is relentlessly steady. The long keel makes the vanes steer like a dream, which means the human stays fresher, longer. That's survivability at the crew level. Where it shines, Southern Ocean honesty and trad rig seamanship, minimal electrics required. Where it bites, interior volume is modest. You pack light, and like the Westsail, it's not a light air flyer. Who it's for? The purist who equates miles with seamanship and wants a boat that has already done what they're planning to do. Checklist: look for evidence of quality repairs if it's a race veteran, inspect the chain plates and bulkhead bonds, and confirm the long keel trailing edge is fair and solid. Buy the cleanest hull you can, the resale demand is real. Next up, the Contessa 32, the giant killer. Narrow, heavy, and blessed with one of the wildest stats in yacht design, an AVS that climbs into the mid-150s. That means if a wave flips you all the way upside down, the boat hates it and snaps back right side up fast. The ballast ratio lives around 40+%, nearly half the boat is lead, and the beam is under 10 feet. Narrow hulls don't love being inverted. That's physics on your side. Construction is old-school tough. Solid GRP hull, encapsulated fin keel, skeg-hung rudder.
Many were built to Lloyd's standards with serious QC and layup, no foam core below the waterline to get soggy. In the Fastnet disaster, the class finished intact when bigger, lighter boats were breaking themselves. That's survivability measured in outcomes, not brochures. Underway, the motion is quick but honest. It heals early, locks in, and keeps punching. It is small inside by modern tastes, but it sails like a proper little ship. Where it shines, sailors who prize righting ability and sea-kindly behavior over condo volumes, and who want a boat that has already proven it can take a beating. Where it bites, space, and payload. Pack like a backpacker, not a mover. Who it's for? The solo or duo who want uncapsizable tendencies in a package they can actually afford, maintain, and dock anywhere. Checklist. Check keel to hull fairness and any prior grounding repairs. Inspect the skeg or rudder for play, and confirm chain plate and mast step health. A sorted Contessa is a little battleship.
Fast buyer's map. If your dream is high latitude or debris-rich waters and you want metal between you and the problem, take the Garcia 45 for hybrid comfort. Or, if you prefer GRP, the Kraken 50 for its no-bolts keel and armored bow. If you're a couple that wants a boat to make heavy weather feel routine, go Amel Super Maramu for compartments, catch manageability, and the safest prop location in cruising. If you want Scandinavian polish with engineering stacked in your favor, the Hallberg-Rassy 46 gives you a stiff, quiet shell that soaks up miles. Working a smaller budget but want brute survivability? Westsail 32 for mass and simplicity, Rustler 36 for long keel tracking and GGR-proven resilience, Contessa 32 for the snap right side up physics and a record book's pedigree. Here's the takeaway. Bluewater isn't a vibe, it's a set of design choices. Ductile metals that dent instead of crack, integral or encapsulated ballast that can't fall off, rudders with protection and service paths you can reach at sea, bulkheads that actually stop water, hull-to-deck joints that are laminated, not caulked, and a cockpit that lets a tired human shorten sail without playing on the foredeck roulette table. Pick your philosophy first, then pick your boat. Want to push into ice and skinny water? Choose the aluminum fortress. Want modern space with the big structural risks engineered out? Choose the integral keel GRP bruiser. Want proven classics that out-survive the crew when it gets western? Choose the long keel legends. Big ocean, small crew. Your odds improve when your boat forgives your worst day. If this helped tighten your shortlist, hit subscribe, drop your questions below, and tell me which of these 7 you'd trust with your next ocean. I read everything, and the next video might be your question turned into a plan.